Guilty.
And count 2, false imprisonment.
Guilty.
Count 3, prohibition on explicit electronic transmissions.
Guilty.
Count 4, prohibition on explicit electronic transmissions.
Guilty.
And count 5, prohibition on electronic transmissions.
Guilty.
All right. And it is signed and dated by you as
Hey guys, back with another one. I will be doing a live today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just want to give you an update on the status of Natureboy, and he's guilty of all 5 charges. He took it to trial. He didn't take that deal that was offered to him. He was being Natureboy, and he got charged guilty of, how can I say? He's guilty of all 5 charges. He took it to trial. He didn't take that deal that was offered to him. He was being Natureboy, and he got charged on all 5 charges, found guilty on all 5 charges, and is going to be in jail for 40 years. I didn't understand the sentencing and how people were posting it. I had to go do my due diligence on that because it wasn't making sense to sentence. I was like, there's no way that they was giving them this much time. But we all know with serious charges like he had, okay, especially the R, if he took it to trial, they were going to hold a high sentence when they opened that. It's a book with numbers in it. And when they add them numbers up, I'll explain the book in another video. When they add the numbers up in whatever state you are, they give you probably the minimum to the max. But let me tell you something. In the state of Georgia, a life sentence is 30 years. He got 30 years, which is life in the state of Georgia, plus 10 years. That means no parole. He has to do 40 years before he can get out. And I'm telling you, in the history of me being on this earth, there has not been a history that I know of. Please put it in the comment section if I'm wrong. Of a person who's a cult leader getting out of this kind of trouble. Usually when the feds come and get them, or whoever comes to the compound or the house or the trailer or the truck, and they come get someone who's labeled as a cult leader, they do some time. They don't even, in a lot of cases, they get out. If they do get out, they get out when they're old and they're not considered a threat to society. Natureboy has been sentenced to 30 years, which is considered life in the state of Georgia, plus 10. And I say this because the judge didn't give him the possibility of parole. The possibility of parole, he would have at least did 14 years of the 30-year sentence before he would be able to be eligible for parole. Then he would have, after 14 years of the 30-year sentence, maybe had the chance to go in front of parole to see if he could get out an early release. There's no such thing in Natureboy's case as an early release. He must do 30 years plus 10. And he's like, what, 43? So he won't be getting out until he's 83 years old. 83 years old. That's when he'll be getting out. Whatever the age he's at, you put that onto the age. Do your math. And that's when he'll be getting out. If Natureboy would have listened to the masses and stopped looking at everyone as haters, he wouldn't be in this situation. And if you're going to do these malicious things, don't do them on social media. I always said in my videos, who records activities like this and puts it up on social media? He did this on a regular basis. And the more people talked about it, the more aggressive he got with it. He got too cocky with it. Natureboy got too cocky with it. And he destroyed a lot of people's lives. People are rebuilding. And I said this time after time after time. People like Nature Boy are hurt. Hurt people hurt people. He needed to get help a long time ago. This went way too long and got way out of control. Nature Boy was out of control. And it's so sad that they allowed this to happen. And when I say they, you know who I'm talking about. Let's not get too personal with it. But if it was any other group, they would have already came in and snatched up the situation. But just know again, he will try to flip the script and do a retrial. I guess he'll be entitled to that from what I'm hearing. But I don't know if that'll be good for him. They might smoke him even more and give him even more time. I don't know. But it's really sad that he's not really putting the puzzle together. You're not a victim. You're a victim of your own circumstances. You made people think that they were a part of a generational curse, but the only one that had a curse was you. You wanted people to be like-minded like you. You changed these people's mind. You brainwashed them. Like you said, you was washing the brain. He got too big for himself. And he took where maybe there was at one point of time. It wasn't when I was commentating on him, but maybe at one point in time he was speaking the message and the nature and living off the land and all that. But when he allowed the spotlight and the money and all of people paying him attention, he took it too far. He took it too far. Not only did you get a sentence of life plus 10 years, and I'm going to keep saying this so it sinks in to the people in the back, but Nature Boy does not have parole. That means he has to do 40 years before he can get out. He'll be an old man. He definitely, at this point, the state of Georgia, he is not a threat. Because by the time he gets out, he will be too old to be a threat. And the women that are now waiting for him will be too old to be worrying about Nature Boy because they'll be too old. They'll have families. They set this up so that they could move on. That's the only way Malia and them probably will move on. They have made this their reality, Nature Boy. But the reality's over. It's time for them to move on with their lives, go take care of their kids, and leave this Nature Boy thing alone. It's going to take, what, another 2 years if he tries to take this back in front of a judge, a different judge, get, I guess, what he calls justice served for him because he's the victim? Go back and be a mother to your child or children. Get into a relationship with yourself and get counseling and then get into a relationship and maybe have more kids, or if not kids, create a family with the kids that you do have or don't have with someone that's going to respect and love you for you, and you don't have to say yes to something that you want to say no to. And you don't have to second guess how you're supposed to be when you get up in the morning because you got to be a certain way for somebody like Nature Boy. You've been set free. Malia, Aya, Zoka, Ephraim. You just got to want to be set free. I know that they are afraid to go out into the real world because it's Babylon in their head right now. Things will definitely click as time goes on. It's going to get too exhausting thinking that they're going to be able to be there for him for 40 years. Nature Boy, if he's lucky, which I hope he don't get lucky in this case, let them girls go on about their business. Be a man and let them just say, I can't do this with you. I'm about to do a sentence. I am going to try to retry it. You know how hard head make us off behind. We know he's going to try to do that. But let them girls go on with their life. That's the only way they're going to leave if you tell them, I can't be your Messiah, your three God, or whatever you got these girls thinking. Let them go on with their life. And it's so sad. I hope that they're getting it. But if they're not, the only one that can set them free is themselves. But they don't have it within themselves to be strong enough to understand that. So I just hope that something or someone helps them get the strength to leave this situation. Because before you know it, it can happen. I've seen it happen to the best of them. They can find themselves, 10 years, 15 years in before it clicks. This man ain't getting out. And I didn't wasted all this time, and you gonna be angry and disappointed with yourself.